This is Conversations with Ronnie Keith. This is Conversations with Ronnie Keith. I am your host, Ronnie Keith. We are back. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I just want to say thank you so much for downloading, supporting, listening, subscribing, following. Remember, any app that you are on, make sure that you are following and listening and subscribing. That way your downloads will be automatically downloaded. So you don't have to go searching for me every Friday when these episodes drop. Once they upload on Friday at midnight, which they do every Friday at midnight, they upload. It should automatically come up for you if you're subscribed or follow on whichever streaming app you're listening to me on. So last week we finished up with part 2 of our conversations with Professor Antoine Simpkins. We'll be coming back later on throughout the year with part 3 and even part 4, but wanted to, get started on the part of this show where I told you guys every other week, it would be me and a special, very special guest.
That's right.
And that's my wife, Iris. Iris, thank you for joining Conversations with Ronnie Keith.
Hola, mi amor. I'm here. It's been a while since I have not been on the show, so I'm always honored.
You haven't been on this show.
Well, I haven't been on in the other show neither.
Yeah,
so you haven't asked
podcast.
me. What's wrong?
Boy,
There's no love?
Here we go, y'all. So, as I told before, as you've listened to the little commercials that I've had and promos that my wife and I will be on here together to talk through us. We will give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful with our relationship.
Yes.
And our marriage and how we got there. And so since this is the very first episode for us, let's go ahead and have you kind of, give a little background on who you are and where you're from. Go ahead, baby.
Oh, do you really want me to go down that route?
Yeah, just give a high level overview of who you are.
Well, most of you all know that, yes, I am Puerto Rican. No, I wasn't born here in the States. I was actually born and raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I was born there in the 80s. Good years, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm not that old. Stop it. We're not going to have that discussion, sir. But I was, born in Puerto Rico, raised and surrounded by beautiful people, beautiful culture, wonderful, delicious food. I can't complain. And my family decided to move and venture off for a better life for my brother and I, actually, here to Orlando, Florida. And it happened I think it was in the 90s or so, mid-90s, that we moved here for a better life. And it's so funny that you say that because my dad had told me that he had to make a decision to move to Orlando, Florida or to New York. And he actually traveled here when he was younger to Orlando and he fell in love with Disney. So he made the decision to go to Disney. Oh, wow. Or to Orlando.
Based on going to Disney.
Yes, because we are hardcore Disney people, aren't we?
Right.
So we moved here and to Orlando. We've been here ever since. I'm very grateful that we decided to come here. And that's pretty much about me, where I started, and I've been here ever since.
Okay.
So,
and I just want to say this, that it's amazing how our stories are similar with the time frame that we moved here, because I was born in Tallahassee, lived in a little bit in South Carolina, Columbia, for a couple of years. Then we moved to Savannah, and then my mom and my father got divorced, and my aunt lived here in Orlando for a while. So my mom and I just moved here. And we
shout out to Mama J. I love you, Mama.
We've been here ever since, and we moved here. I want to say it was the second. It was the second half of my second grade year. So I want to say it was 1990 when we moved here.
Okay.
So not too far from when you guys moved here, I believe.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's amazing how that happened. So funny story, just to let you guys know, Iris and I, we've been married now for 10 years.
Amen.
Our wedding date is actually on New Year's.
Happily married.
Happily.
Yes.
Beautifully married. In love. We were married on New Year's 10 years ago. We actually had our wedding in July. So we did a ceremony at the church with our pastor and a few family and friends. And then we did a nice big actual wedding ceremony and reception in July. At a
beautiful wedding.
Yeah, very, very beautiful. So how we met a long time ago. So funny thing, Iris and I actually went to the same middle school
and high school.
Yeah,
Isn't that something?
That is something. Now, I don't ever recall seeing you in middle school.
I was there. I was with the Miramitas, like you guys like to call us. Stop it. And I have to tell the listeners something very important. When I moved here, I did not know English like that. I want you all to know that, yes, I sound like a white girl. And I do have light skin, but like my mama Jay, my mother-in-law always said, when she met me, Lord knows she's not shaped like no white girl. She's shaped like a black girl. That's how I knew she was Puerto Rican. So just want to put that out there that I do sound like this, but believe it or not, I had to learn English. I did not know anything about English, and I learned it watching a lot of cable TV. Believe it or not, I say cable TV because that was a pleasure back then. You know, you had to pay extra for that. So I didn't know any English at all. So I learned it like that. So I used to hang around. What were some of the shows
that you watched that helped you?
Oh my God, Full House was one of them. Family Matters, Living Color. We were very big into that. Like we would literally,
That was yours?
Yes, yes. Okay. And we would watch America's Funniest Home Videos with Bob Saget. Remember, rest in peace, bendito. So
you know, Mama still watches. Do you know that Mama still watches America's Home Video? Funniest video? Yeah.
My dad does too, but he goes to YouTube. So.
Okay.
But
so that's how you just started learning. And so when you were in elementary school, middle school here, were you in the ESOL?
Yes, I was. Oh my God, yes, I was. Thank you for bringing that up. And I was in ESOL all the way through high school.
Really?
Yes, I decided to stay there on purpose. Towards the end of my high school, I think it was like 10th grade, I scored so high, but I actually flunked the test because I didn't want to take the English classes. Because ESOL was fun and they had so many different.
What would you do in there?
And I think a lot of people have this thing about ESOL is just for Puerto Rican kids, and it's not like that. It's actually English speakers of other languages. Let's correct that. So there was a whole bunch of people there that spoke different languages, believe it or not. And ESOL was fun. We had cultural activities, events. We had a lot of like pop-up meets, and it was just a very fun place in a class that you could be yourself, and the teacher was very nice. And I was in ESOL for all through my high school career, and they would scare us and say, when you go to Valencia, shout out to Valencia, I love Valencia, Valencia College, it's like, oh, you get frowned upon, because you took ESOL, but yeah.
So when do you believe you became fluent in English? Well, I won't say fluent. When do you believe you felt comfortable enough speaking English that, okay, my English is good now?
I think when I transitioned over to the healthcare industry, I had to basically beef it up. And I would say in my mid-20s.
Wow.
And I still struggle with some words. You know that. You know that. Stop smiling. So
them SHs and
stop
CHs
it. Stop it. You guys
girl.
can hear it. My CHs, SHs, all that. I do struggle.
The Y's and the J's, because the J's sound like Y's in Espanol. and the Y sound like J. So
Whatever.
one of the first things that I when I first met Iris was I asked her to say Young Jeezy because I knew
I
she was
can't
going to have
say
problems.
that. I can't say that. Sean Cheesy. I can't.
Young,
I can't say that. Okay, Sean Cheesy.
young.
Oh my God, that's so hard. And the guy from No Limit,
Which one?
the guy so.
Silk the Shocker?
Oh my God, that's so hard to say for
Wow.
me.
So okay. So anyway, so you started. You like I said, we went to the same middle school. You were a year behind me, so we weren't in the same class.
Yes.
I never saw you at Liberty. However, I do remember seeing you at Colonial. Mm-hmm. So here's a funny story.
Tell me, say it.
So Iris dated in high school this young man that he played football with us. He was actually on the JV team. And he was something of a smart butt. He always had,
jerk.
smart things to say. Yeah. Now,
Yeah, he
mind
was.
you, he was weaker than all of us, but he was just a smart aleck. And one day, I don't know what he said to me. I think I just was having a bad day, a very bad day. And he said something to me, and I remember I jacked him up in the locker. And me and a couple of
So
my
brutal.
friends stuffed him in. This is in the football locker room. Stuffed him in the football locker room. And I remember telling him that I was going to do some things, not in a deviant way, but I more or less told him I was going to sex his girlfriend up and make him know that I did it. And there was nothing he could do about it. I said, I was
can't.
crazy. So I would say crazy stuff. And I said that to him, and he damn near had
such a
tears
meanie.
in his eyes.
You were such a meanie.
Well, the moral of the story is Ronnie Keith will never lie to you. He always keeps his promises.
Yeah.
Because look what happened. Well, anyways, so that was a story, that happened. But I used to see her around, and although typically, my wife isn't what I would date at that time.
What?
Well, okay. Let me
Shame
be
on
clear.
you.
Hold on.
Elaborate on that and
Well,
break it apart.
Okay, so what I mean is that,
Break it apart for the audience.
so for me, I typically dated black girls, black women were my thing. And, I ain't gonna say were my thing. And Latin women I like too, but I like Latin women that were, of a darker complexion, And so my wife is very, very, not super pale, but she's pale, for you, those that have seen her or haven't seen her, she's pale, but she's beautiful. And so I always thought she was a very pretty girl. However, there were two things that I could not get. Well, there was only really one thing I couldn't get over. And that was that I had never heard her speak, talk, or anything.
You thought I was like the ghetto Puerto Ricans?
No.
Nana! Like that?
I didn't think
No?
that. I just thought,
we could get loud sometimes.
well, yes, I know that now. I just thought she couldn't speak English. She just had this
on you.
look
If
on
you
her
only knew.
face every time I saw her. When I was in the 11th grade, she was in the 10th grade. When I was in the 12th grade, she was in the 11th grade. And she just was this very pretty girl, but she just looked like she didn't know a lick of English. And it's not to, you can look at some people and be like,
me.
oh, I don't think they know English, because they just have this, she had like this dazed and confused look on her face. And so
Stop.
later on, I didn't feel so bad about it because John said, hey, I thought she didn't speak English too.
You know
he
what?
remembered you too.
You know what? I'm going to get John for that. I'm going to get him for that.
But
Ooh, watch out, John.
so that happened. So we were in high school at the same time. Fast forward years later, you were working at the place of employment.
Yes.
And I had just recently left Men's Warehouse. And I got a job at that place where you worked. And the first day, usually when you go to a job, there's a training class. You're going to be in for 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah. It's so brutal.
But the second day, I go in to check in for the class, and they tell me my name's not on the list. And so I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why is my name on the list?
Gosh.
And so no, they were like, no, the manager, whoever wants to come down and talk to you. I'm like, oh God, what did I do? So she comes down and tells me that they need me immediately. So they didn't want me in class. And I looked at her and I said, well, I don't have any experience doing healthcare. She's like, that's okay. I looked at your background. I just think you'll pick it up easier. So, oh God. So they bring me up to the floor and they have me sit next to someone working on a computer, shadowing them. And I already thought this is going to end up bad because, I'm not good at training classes and shadowing somebody because I'll fall asleep.
Oh, baby.
So I'm sitting there.
Did you fall asleep?
Somewhat. I was going in
my
and out of sleep.
gosh.
Oh, yeah, because we got bored.
And then you have like this very strong snore thing going on.
But I wasn't snoring. When I sit straight up, I'm not going to snore. And
whatever.
Especially if I'm not like really relaxed, it takes me being very relaxed for me to snore. Oh, and so I was sitting straight up.
Lord.
And then all of a sudden, I see somebody come over.
Yep.
And the person I was shadowing, you're talking to them. And I looked, and I was like, she looks familiar. Mm-hmm. Who said it first? Like, we both said
it was
hi.
Me.
What did you say to me?
So I had came over because the young lady that you were training with, she was collaborating with me, and we were taking care of some premature patients at that time. We had some babies that we were taking care of. And I was collaborating with her, and I came over to her desk because I had been out for a couple days. I was out on PTO, and I was just like, hey, I just wanted to check in with you to make sure everything is okay. And I didn't even pay attention to you. All I know is that she was training someone. And then she was like, no, it's okay, Iris. I was able to handle everything. And I was like, good. Thank you so much. You are amazing. And then when I look over, I see this young man, and I was like, wait a minute. Didn't you go to this high school? And you were like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's where I remember you from. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Welcome. Something like that, I think I said.
Yes. And at that time, I was like, when you said that, I said, oh, wow. She speaks English well. Because then I remembered who she was. Come on. For real. So I was like, okay. So then when she walked away.
My English was improved by then.
Yes. But then when you walked away, I was like, oh.
What was the about? Say it. I want everybody to know. Be transparent.
Well, you were looking pretty good in that gray suit you had on. I remember you had on a gray suit.
I did have a gray suit, yes.
And I said, oh, man, okay.
Yeah, I remember where I got it, too, from New York and Company. That was like a good store back in the day. And I wore it that day. I just felt good. I don't know.
You know what's crazy now that I think about it? I had on a gray suit, too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I just did. When you came over, my jacket was on the back of my seat, but I had on a heather gray suit, too.
Wow. I remember the shirt. I remember the pants. I remember the jacket. I remember my hair. My hair was red.
Yeah.
But you never forget those moments, those quick little moments like that.
So at that time when I met you, were you in a relationship or were you?
Oh, you want to go that route? He wants to go deep. So yes, I was involved in a on and off relationship. And for everyone to know, it was not a healthy relationship. It was a rather toxic, but as a girl, especially that person was the father, Isaac's father, it made things a little bit difficult there, to kind of let go. And when a woman has a child with a man like that, it's kind of hard to just let go. Yeah. So it was on and off, and it was not, ladies and gentlemen, this was not a healthy relationship at all. It was extremely toxic.
Okay. So, I had a couple of situations going on.
Tell me.
Well, I just had a couple of situations. I was in and out of dating someone too. And, well, yeah, them and some others. But
what?
Then, you and I.
Such a hoochie.
Whatever. So then we started talking, but it was very work related, right?
Oh, yeah. It was nothing there.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
And I figured out just that quick that you were the ace of the team. Like we were on the same team.
I try.
and you were like the best thing smoking there. And so at first I thought you were one of the leads until you told me. And I was like, oh, man, I
No.
didn't know you weren't the lead.
I didn't
said,
get the lead job because I'm Puerto Rican.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
I'm not going to go that route.
Wait a minute.
peoples.
A Puerto Rican did get the job.
But,
I
you know,
understand. Okay. So anyways, she, I would go to you for help. And then when you told me that, I was like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. You're like, no. Do not stop coming to me for help. So sometimes I would call your desk and you
I
were
remember.
like so pleasant, very helpful. Not that anybody dismissed me, because people always say I had like this crazy look on my face, like I would rip somebody apart. So nobody really, not to say, oh, everybody feared me, but
Right.
no one would be quick to be nasty to me. But you just were so pleasant, like very, very helpful. And you just were my go-to.
And you know what? I'm so glad that you said that. And I was raised like that. My mom and my dad, especially my dad, always told me that even if you're the expert at your job, always treat others like you're brand new. That, how would you like to be treated when
Right.
you were brand new?
Absolutely.
So even now in my job, like, I don't care if you ask me something stupid. I don't think there's a wrong or right answer. I think it's just your approach, why not help them out? So I remember that you would call. It's like, hey, I have a question for you. It's like, oh, you never bother me. Come on now. Let's figure this out.
Right.
What's going on?
And, of course, as you've gotten to know me all these
Yeah.
years, the one thing that I hate is not knowing anything. I have to know everything.
Oh, gosh.
And so that irritated
Peoples,
the
please.
hell out of me because I didn't know what I was doing. So this was back in 2008 that I started with the company, the same company I'm with to this day. So that's when I met Iris in November. I started November 8th, so I met you November 9th of 2008. And so, we then progressed to where they had a little
break room.
Yeah, upstairs, and they had the couches and
But you
stuff.
got to let the audience know what kind of break room was this, and the couch.
Oh, they
It
had
was amazing.
These wonderful.
The lights were
comfortable-
down.
Yeah, and then the computers were in there.
Yeah.
You need to get online or something.
Yeah, you could go to, by that time it was still MySpace, was it?
Yeah.
Was it MySpace?
It was MySpace and Facebook still.
A little
too.
bit of
I had
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah. It was that, and then
God, we're so old.
phones weren't like super smart then.
Oh, yeah.
You would go in there.
I had a flip phone.
Yeah. But every time I would go in there, you would be on the couch curled up with a cover asleep. And I never got a chance to really ask you because, by the time I would come in, our breaks were a little different. You would be leaving. Why were you in there sleeping so much?
So I was very tired. At that point, I had become a single mother, and I had to do whatever I can to pay for my baby's daycare. And unfortunately, the job we weren't doing wasn't paying those bills. So I had to get a secondary job. So I was working 7 days a week. I didn't get any breaks, and I was working at Old Navy. I love me some Old Navy. I still shop there to this day. They're really good business. But anyhow, I was just very tired. I would come home. I think we were working the late shift at that time. We were working a lot of overtime.
12 to 9.
I just
later.
didn't have a day off.
Yeah.
I just didn't. And I remember the little time that I did have off, I would try to spend time with Isaac. And this is when he was like 4, I think. 4?
3.
4 years old.
3.
And I would make the absolute most effort to take my baby to Aquatica early in the morning. I would be out there at 7, 8 o'clock to try to be at Old Navy
Actually,
by 12.
2, because he's born in 2006.
Yeah, 2, 3.
He was 2 in 2008.
I think we are right
2.
in line with the age.
Yeah, he was 2.
Yeah, so I would do whatever I can to spend time with him, but it was very tiring, going to a water park and then heading to work. But I did what I could. I did my best, and I was very exhausted. Come home and clean and cook, taking care of a little one. So, yeah, that's why I was always sleepy.
Yeah, and I had a lot going on, too, because, my mom was in a place where she needed a little help, financially, too.
Yes.
So I was eating up so many hours as much as I could. And
You were always there.
I was there, so my
He was
mom,
always there.
my mom and I shared a car. And what happened in the morning time, because my mom had to be way across town at a certain time, we would get up, her and I.
Was that Lake Mary
And
where she worked?
no. This is when she was like doing the after school, not after school. She was the teacher aide.
Oh,
and
okay.
she was at the
okay.
elementary school way across town.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
So she had to be there early for elementary, and so she would drop me off like right there on the corner of Goldenrod and Lee Vista. And I would tell her to do that, but she would hate doing it. But I would tell her, no, Mom, you got to get to work. And I would walk from there to the job and be there like at 6:30 in the morning. This was every day. And I would stay there, and overtime at that time was open.
Yeah.
So I was able to go in, work, and I would stay there till my regular shift was 12 to 9.
Yeah.
So I would stay there, past 9 at times to
I
do
remember.
overtime.
You and I
So,
both. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that gave you and I time
Yes.
to really talk.
To get to know each
get to know
other.
each other a little better. And I remember one time you even told me, you were like, there's this guy that had asked me out on a date, but I don't know if I really want to
Yeah.
go out with him because I found out he was Mexican. I said, wow, what's wrong with that?
Can you imagine me bringing a Mexican? No offense, people. Come on now.
Yeah, that's what you was saying. I was like, what? At that time, I'm like, what the hell's the difference? You Puerto Rican. But anyways.
Stop it. There's a lot of differences. Stop.
So we began to
No offense.
really build a nice friendship.
Yeah, like I would come to you again. I was still kind of involved in that on and off relationship that I just couldn't learn how to break off.
Right.
And also I was like, wow, I'm dating and I met this guy. We were like going to each other for advice. We were going to each other to talk about our problems.
Yes.
And we just developed this really nice friendship, relationship. We had a vibe.
Yes, we did. And then finally,
Oh, it's me.
it was you. You said, hey, let me give you my number. And I said, okay. And then we
That
were
was a
messaging
friendly,
each other.
like, hey, here, this is my
Sure.
number. It was.
Let me tell you why I know it wasn't friendly.
It was
because
friendly.
You had
Stop
messaged me,
it.
and I saw it before, like on the messenger at work, and I saw it. Oh, it was an email or something because we didn't have messenger at that time. And I said, oh, okay. But then I quickly got up because I had to go use the restroom.
And I put it on a sticky
Man,
pad.
you had that thing right there on my desk, sticky pad. So I knew.
First
then,
of all, sir,
that ain't no friendly phone number.
No,
'cause
mira,
you'd have been
espérate un momentito.
Go ahead.
I need to clarify
Go
that
ahead.
that was a friend. Like, hey, this is my number.
me tell
Yo,
you
holla
something.
at me. Let's talk.
Right. Yeah.
That's
were
what it was.
We were already doing that. Ronnie Keith had already taken it for the
Can you
99
hear
and
this?
the 2000. Holla. So,
He's
she
so
gave me the
confident. I
number.
love it.
I gave her the number, and we started corresponding. And actually, funny story. So we started talking about actually hanging out,
Yes.
but
Ooh, but you diss me.
I kept dissing
He
her.
kept postponing people,
Yeah.
okay? And I was like, what is wrong with this guy?
So again, I was
like, whatever.
It would be
Move on
time-
to the next.
It would be times where I still had stuff I was doing, and so it would take me away from,
Oh,
okay, I
please.
made these plans. Let me tell her we need to, get back. But finally,
But hold on. Let's say it how it is. This took like maybe we'll say like 3 to 4 times we were trying to get.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like it was like months,
Yeah.
spaces
it
between.
was after the new year.
Yeah, like it was like a series of like, okay, well, we would try to get together again the next month. It was just very sporadic. It didn't happen like that.
Right. So finally, we got together for the first date.
Yes.
And me,
I have to laugh about the first date. We'll get to that.
we will get to it. So the first date, no, the when I did the foot thing, that wasn't the first date.
I think that was
No,
the
it
first
wasn't.
date.
It was,
it was
like the
Chili's.
third or something. Yes. Come on, you got to remember that.
No, wait a minute, sir.
That was like the third.
When
or fourth.
you fell, ladies and gentlemen, my husband fell down
Well, wait. Let's get to that when we get to that. Now,
on a
Let's talk about
date.
the First date. Let me
First
tell you.
day was Sonics and Chili's.
So I asked her, being a gentleman, I wanted to find out what she liked to eat.
Chili's.
So she said, Chili's, bruh. When she said that to me,
I grew up so poor.
I said, what in the hell? Chili's? Ugh. I did not like Chili's. at the
Listen,
time.
those chicken crispers are
Whatever.
on point.
I didn't like them. So I was like,
and that corn on the cob.
when
Something
she said
about
it, I said, okay, all right, whatever. So
I didn't know what a true restaurant was at that time.
I know. You found out.
I was po.
You found out pretty soon. Because that was the last time I let you pick a
Oh,
restaurant for a while.
stop
So then we went to Chili's and had a very good time.
Yeah, we talked a lot.
Yeah,
And
we stayed in there.
you were
a long
asking
time.
me about Isaac, and
Yes, very, very inquisitive about, Isaac and just about you. I know we had been talking, but
right.
this is the first time we were kind of in more of an intimate setting to
Yes.
talk. And then we then went to Sonic's because we didn't get dessert at Chili's for some reason. And for some reason, you said you wanted dessert at Sonic's or something. I don't know how we ended up there, but I know we went to the one
That's so weird.
that was it was very weird. And we just sat there and ate our dessert
In the car.
in the car, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then took you home, I think. Didn't I take you home?
Yeah, you took me home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, then after that, there were occasions where I would, the dates became more frequent. I would go
And I
to Red
remember,
Box.
wait a minute.
Go ahead.
So when we came home after the first date, I was like, so would you like to come up?
Yes.
But no, nothing happened.
Nothing
Nothing
happened that
happened.
time.
I was like, would you like to just come up, to
Yeah.
chill?
Yeah. We just chill, watched a little TV, and then I left. And then the dates became a little bit more frequent. Sometimes we went out. Sometimes, I'll stop by Red Box. Throwback, y'all. Red Box.
What, dollar rental? Oh, I
Give us a
miss
little
those
movie and
days.
everything. And so one time we
dollar
went out for
rentals.
dinner. I forget the restaurant we went to, but I remember we went to the movies after
Cheesecake
dinner.
Factory.
Oh, we went to
Winter
Cheesecake
Park.
Factory. There you go. So we
See,
went to
I do
Cheesecake.
remember. You owe me an apology.
You remember what you want to remember.
We're not even.
You know what
gonna
I'm
go
saying?
there.
Because
We're
if
not
I
even
ask
gonna
you,
go
hey, baby,
there.
what about yesterday? I don't know why you asking me this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we went to Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
Then walked over there to the movies. And so I laughed at her.
It was Wolverine, by the way.
Yes.
I remember
the first
the movie,
Wolverine.
yeah.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
Because I'm not going to say his name because it's so hard for me to
Who?
pronounce. You know who? Wolverine.
Who played Wolverine?
I'm not going to say it because they're going to make fun of me.
I want to know who plays him.
No. I'm not going to say
Who
it.
plays him in the movie?
Nope.
What's the actor's name?
Hugh Shackman. See, I can't say that. It's so hard. I have to think about it a couple times and then I'll get it right.
Mm-hmm. So we went and saw that movie, and my wife, every time we went out, anytime I saw her, she dressed beautiful. And so
I remember what I was wearing too.
you do? What were you wearing? You had these high heels on, I know.
So there is this wonderful store that I used to go to back in the day. It's called Shoeland. Shout out to all those people that shopped at Shoeland. And these shoes were like $19.99 and under. And these shoes were high. They were like stripper kind of looking, right?
Yeah, they were
hard.
very
I couldn't
high.
even walk on them, but I wasn't gonna let him know that.
Yeah. Well,
Ladies,
remember you did
you don't give up your game like that.
But remember, you did slip, and I kind of
I
laughed at
almost
you.
slipped. Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
almost
did a
fell.
little slip, and
You know what?
I
Whatever.
laughed.
Whatever. So yes,
laughed.
and I was wearing like this cute little vest because vests were in at that time, and
Yeah.
a nice little blue shirt, and my hair was done.
Yeah.
I actually got my nails done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to Cheesecake Factory, we went to see X-Men, Origins, Wolverine. And then as the movie's over,
Telling the truth.
we're walking down the stairs of the movie.
Well, I didn't know about it.
Because it was still dark.
I didn't know about it because I think you had went to the bathroom or something.
No.
Grab popcorn. No. How did that
This was
happen?
after the movie. We were leaving. And we were sitting up high. And so you were in front of me. And I took a wrong step.
He did.
And my leg, I got bad ankles from playing football and breaking them too.
He fell down.
And it just, I didn't fall all the way down, but I fell down enough. And I was holding on to the rail, and
I laughed instead of helping them.
Yes.
Or helping him, sorry.
that left ankle just went. I
Yes.
said, "Oh God!"
Yep, I remember that.
So
And I was like,
man, so I'm in pain. I
Yes.
can barely walk on it, but I'm a trooper, right? Because guess what? I get to go back home with her.
whatever.
So, but here's the thing about that, fellas. As thirsty as we are, we'll do anything being thirsty because guess what? My wife lived on the third floor.
Yes, the third
Her
floor
apartment was on
apartment.
the third. So I had to.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to say this.
Go ahead.
The third floor apartment is the best apartment to be in.
It absolutely
It really is. I don't care what people say. I know the walk sucks.
Unless you got a messed up foot or ankle.
Oh, stop.
So I had to do the one-man hobble all the way up them 3 flights of stairs. But guess what? I had to do it for a good
And I was like giggling and laughing, and I was
Yeah.
bendito. I didn't know the extent of
I mean, it was hurt. So my granny was living with us too at that time.
Oh,
so
Granny.
She doctored on it the whole weekend because that was a Friday it happened, I think. And
Yes, it was on a Friday.
yeah,
Good memory.
So the
yeah.
whole Saturday and Sunday.
I'm so
I
excited.
had my feet iced and hot and elevated
Oh, she was
and
so
everything.
nice.
So then, things are going well. A little too well. And so
Are you talking about when we
between
came
you
upstairs?
and I. No, not
Oh, I was
after
about to
the
say, are
I'm
you
not
going to go into detail?
No, I ain't about to do that.
Okay.
You know, Mama listening. But y'all
It's okay. Mama used to be young. Mama, you understand, right?
But listen, that's why I hobbled my butt upstairs because I wasn't gonna let a foot let me down. You know what I'm saying? So
One thing led to another.
of course. I mean, but by then we had already. But anyway,
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
and you
we
had
did.
made the first move.
I
as
did.
usual.
I actually fell asleep and it just happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, our first kiss was very magical in my opinion.
Yeah.
It really felt like I don't know, like fireworks, and it was just very like intense. Like we were hungry for it. Like
Yeah.
you know how you see it in movies and
Yes.
people are like, "Oh my God, this is the love of my life."
Yeah.
That's how I felt like.
It really came out of nowhere for both of us.
It was hot, sexy.
Yeah.
Let me stop.
And so then, I would see you a little bit more often.
Yes.
I was seeing you more often, but then I just noticed all of a sudden it started getting a little weird.
My text messages
And
were not as frequent.
It weren't as frequent, and the calls weren't as frequent. And at this point, we weren't on the same team at work, so it
I had
wasn't like I saw you.
transitioned.
Yeah, you went.
You're
to another
absolutely
team.
right.
Yeah,
I had transitioned to another department, another
yeah.
team, another building.
Yeah, you were in the second building.
Yeah.
So I didn't see you as often, but I would see
Yeah.
you. We would correspond, but I just noticed things was weird, and I know it because I'm the master of making things weird.
Oh, please.
With other women before.
Can you believe this?
So my antennas was up, and I said, something don't feel right. So I remember you telling me, this stuck out to me one time. You said, baby daddy came to pick up Isaac, and he saw the roses and stuff.
Yes,
that
because
left
you were
me.
very, very giving, very caring.
Was.
Or you still are. Let me clarify that.
Man, wow. No, go ahead.
No, but he was always giving flowers and leaving beautiful messages and, text messages. And you were just so like, oh my God, like I never met a man like that would basically cater to me or treat me like a queen.
Right.
That's the difference. Like you really, like this guy really cares for me. Oh my gosh, So that's kind of like, it's scary, but then interesting when that happens to a girl, like it happened to me. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? And
And we were in our early 20s. Like,
yeah, we were in our early
2009, I was what, 20,
in your early
26?
yeah,
No.
mid
No,
20s.
wait a minute. 92, 02 plus, I was like 26.
Yep.
26.
Yep. So again, going back to that horrible toxic relationship, this man is starting to see how this new man in my life is treating me and catering to me and buying me all these flowers and just really, and you know what, Keith, not for nothing, but you always made me feel very special. And because I didn't hear that, growing up, I was always the black sheep, the awkward girl. I mean, the weirdo looking girl, and you just really made me feel beautiful. And I don't think
Well, you are. You
oh,
always were.
stop.
No, you always were. I don't know where you get this
But
from.
he was the first man that made me feel like, wow, very like beautiful within my skin and skin deep and so forth. But Isaac's father saw that, and he was just like, who the hell is this man? What is he doing? And he started doing all these things out of nowhere that were not normal for this guy.
Yeah.
And it like, when you say it screwed me up, it really screwed my mind up. Like, oh my God, is he going to change again? How do you break apart from that? And you're like, okay, he's going to change. He's not. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, when you told me that he saw it in question, you like,
yeah,
and you told him.
It's like, mind your own business.
And I said, In the back of my head, I didn't say anything to you.
Yeah.
Back of my mind, I said, okay. I said, the switch up is about to happen. I said that to myself, and I later told you. I said, he's going to start, doing these things. And so.
He really did. He really did. He would give me money for gas. I remember he never used to do that. I would be struggling. He bought me flowers out of nowhere. He would text me randomly throughout the day, like with little passages. Oh, thinking about you. And me, I would get these things and I would just roll my eyes like, this is not you. You're just trying to do this to basically win me back over. Like, he was not happy for me, or he was not willing to be happy the fact that I found somebody that was basically treating me like the queen, like a queen.
Yeah.
So I think that was like hard for him. I don't know.
Yeah. And
like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah.
And then he's a negro? Ooh.
Right. Right. That's like a big no-no, right?
Yeah, and the Latin community, it's so sad that, and I know this is going to be a topic for another discussion, and I'm all for it. And our community has the audacity to be racist among darker skins, and and we all know Puerto Ricans. We are made up different skin tones, complexions, and whatever body types. Yeah. But he was like, "Oh, this man is a black man. Oh, hell no! What's going on here?"
Yeah.
So
and then we sat there and. Again, it just got so weird.
Yeah,
I felt it.
It started, playing with my mind.
Right.
I want to say the F word. I was like, I was getting all screwed up.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna try to curse.
So then,
and it did
that. Like I said, so I had made plans for us to go on a date, and
this was supposed to be a special date. Too.
Yeah, it really was, and I kept like communicating with you, and I noticed that. It was very short. Yeah.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Thank you.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, my antennas were.
He won that battle. That was the last battle he won.
So, the day that we were going to go on the date.
Yeah.
I remember it because, again, like I told you, me and my mom would share cars. So my mom would come and pick. She would have the car the whole day because I'm at work all day. And so she was going to come and pick me up. And so the plan was for her to pick me up. And then, I would go pick up Iris. And then we would go out and I'll do all these things. And I remember that day you told me, you said, hey, don't worry about picking me up. I'll take you home. And I said, take me home? I'm like,
that's weird.
That's very weird. Yeah. I said, okay. So then... I wait for you, and that's when you got in the car. We got in the car, and we did not go where we were supposed to go.
Right.
And you pulled up. We were in my parents' neighborhood, I believe, but we didn't go to their house. We were like in the little park area. I think this is where you had the conversation with me.
No, it was at Popeyes.
Oh, it was at Popeyes.
Yeah, I remember clearly.
Oh, okay.
Because I was so hungry.
Oh, okay.
So and we still, went to even though I was acting weird with this wonderful man that I met, and we had a vibe going, I had this negativity, like just brainwashed me and all that good stuff. And I basically broke the news. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. I was very transparent, and this is why I've been acting like that. And and you took it very, very good.
Well, you thought I did.
I did. Oh, God.
In the back
Tell
of
us
my
the
head,
truth.
Man, listen. Well, you should have known how mad I was because...
I bet you
Well,
were.
you didn't know then, but I loved Popeyes, and I didn't get anything to eat
I know.
because I already
got
knew.
the 2-piece snack. Oh,
I already
so
knew it was
good.
BS because we were going to Popeyes and not going where we were supposed to go.
I know,
So I already
yeah.
knew it was BS, and so I didn't even bother to order anything. I
But you
just sat there and
still,
watched
this is
you.
what I was trying to say, and I just got off on a tangent there.
Mm-hmm.
You still made sure I got something to eat because you were
Yeah.
like, "What do you want to eat?" And I just saw Popeye on the way, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Let's go to Popeyes."
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. And so you told me that you needed to work some things out. And
Yeah.
all this other stuff. So
But I was very transparent about,
you were.
yeah. That.
And at that point, what made me mad is that I had started to put down some of the other women. So it was just like, okay, this is going to be something serious.
Other women's. You guys hear
know
that?
what I mean? But
They were lining up.
that turned to what it wasn't. And I was in total disbelief. Like after we left Popeyes, then
I broke his heart, ladies and gentlemen.
we went home. Well, you took me home, and that whole ride, I was just like, and you were like, you kept trying to reassure me. You were still trying to work things. Trying to figure things out. Your mind was.
You were
messed
very
up,
quiet,
but I
yeah.
was very quiet. I
was
hot.
extremely confused.
And
Extremely
at that
confused.
time, as a youngin,
Like brainwashed.
was-
It's weird to explain.
I was crazy. So it was good that you had drove in your car because you had been
Oh,
in my
my
car. I
goodness.
would have probably left you there at Popeyes.
Stop it.
I would have told you, hey, let me go grab something out the
And
car.
they didn't have Uber back then.
Right. Well, they
Oh,
they
damn.
did, but
I was
you didn't
about
know
to
nothing
sit here and
about
say,
it.
well, I would have gotten an Uber, sir.
Yeah.
or or a Lyft, but I forgot. We
They
didn't
did have
those.
it. They had it.
They
It was in
did
the
not. They
beginning
had
of-
taxis.
No, they had Uber in the beginning stages back then. They told us.
But not
But
in
not
our
that we knew
area.
about it. Yeah. So
Shoot, my phone couldn't even hold up a smart app at that point.
So that was, I got back to the house and
Yeah.
man, I was seething. I think I said, all right, talk to you later. I gave you a hug, but I was just seething.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. And I just went
was
in
like,
and
What did I do?
I was pissed. And so that was the very first iteration of our relationship that had come to a close. And so we'll pick this up with part two, because part two, well, I'm not going to say part two because it's going to be every other week. So the next time we come back, we'll talk about what happened during that time we were away from each other.
Yes.
What happened being still at the same job, our interactions, what happened, because something serious happened with me.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that for next episode.
Let's do it, baby.
All right, baby. So how did you feel for the first time being on our episode together?
Number one, I'm just extremely blessed and honored and excited to be here and sharing our story. I think this story may help someone. I really do think so. Somebody who's struggling out there in a toxic relationship. And I just wanted to add this, and I'm not going to give away too much, but I remember when I did that, I kind of like a piece of my heart broke because, again, I was really liking this guy. And this guy, again, he was treating me completely different. Mm-hmm. And I know somebody may be listening to this and they're probably like, there's no way a guy had never treated her like the way Keith treated me. But it's the truth. It's the truth. I never met anyone that would treat me like that. It was night and day, and I remember sitting in the car when you said, all right, talk to you later. Bye.
Well, I also said this to you. I said that
Hold on. Let me say.
Go ahead.
I remember saying to myself, I was like, wow, I hope I don't regret this. Mm-hmm. And then when I came back home, I was like, what did I do? Mm. Oh my God, what did I do? I just let this wonderful man go because this guy was screwing with my brain.
Mm-hmm. And I remember telling you before I got out of the car, it wasn't just bye. I remember I said to you, all he's doing is playing this game.
You're
I
right.
said, because that's not the real him.
It's
I
not.
said the
It
real
was
him
not.
is going to come out and it's going to be too late.
Oh, it definitely came out.
Yeah. And I told you, I said, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
I said, but since your mind is all messed up, I said, you go right ahead. I said, but he's only doing this for a short while, and then he's going to go back to who he was.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
This gentleman, Isaac's father, had left me even homeless on top of that, and look at what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
And I just like, wow, I just made a mistake. What did I do? I feel like a little piece of my heart broke there, but it had to happen.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. So we'll come back, and as I said, this will be every other week.
Yes.
We'll be back, and we will pick up where we left off as we continue on this journey about our relationship. Mm-hmm. I want to thank you guys again for supporting and downloading. Continue to listen to us. This is Conversations with Ronnie Keith. Holler at your boy and
your girl.